Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm delighted that Dr. Minji Zing from the University of Manchester is going to share her work with us this evening, related to intercultural communication between native speakers and non-native speakers. So it's over to you, Minji.
Okay, thank you, Marina, for the introduction, and thanks for everybody for coming. And let me turn to next page. Yeah, and I am teaching Chinese to English students at the University of Manchester. Each year, we have over 100 students doing Chinese as a degree. Apart from that, we also have over 60 students doing Chinese for credits. I'm the course unit director for 6 different language modules and also program director for joint degree. Joint degree students, half of their degree is subject like bioscience, computer science, and half is modern language, including Spanish and French, etc. To teach a language well, I exploit different pedagogies. Direct method is to use the target language to teach the language. It's okay for advanced students, but not for beginners. Physical response is more suitable for primary and middle school students. Grammar translation method is a bit boring, so I decided to use interactive learning. Learning English online and interaction between Chinese students in China and our students in China as well. In
Sorry,
class,
Minji, can you hear me? I'm sorry, I was on mute. Can you go back again and do the second slide because unfortunately the internet failed us and you had frozen. So you wouldn't mind going back and talking about direct method and physical response, that slide, please?
so
Thank
from
you.
there,
Yes, please.
so is that okay now?
Yes, and so if you could explain each of those, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, and different pedagogies for teaching Chinese. Direct method is to use the target language to teach the language. It is okay for advanced students, high level proficiencies, but not for low levels like beginners. They won't understand. For physical response, that is more suitable for primary school and middle school students. For grammar translation, that is sometimes a little bit boring, so I decided to use interactive learning. Is that okay, Marina? Okay. So this interaction takes place between language learners in class and between our language learners and Chinese students on campus, between our students and Chinese students in China who are learning English online, and between my students and Chinese people in China in person. In class, students immediately apply what we have learned to practice. We create all kinds of scenarios for them to practice the language. Outside class, we have language cafe, language corner, so that they can directly talk to Chinese students. And we have got a very positive feedback because the students feel that what they say, Chinese students can understand, and the other way around. Once this is successful, we apply to all the students, no matter they are doing single honors, joint degrees, or doing credits. We match each of our students with one or two or even more Chinese students on campus. Together, they set up language partnership. Together with their language partners, they carry out all kinds of activities. Whatever they do, they need to put that down as a learning diary in the target language, and they share the stories. And language cannot be separated from culture. From playing these games together, our students learn a Chinese way of thinking, their thought patterns, and that can be applied to every other aspect in life. And together they go to Chinatown, the second biggest in the UK. And from there, they can acquire Chinese culture, for example, on the right. And unlike Western people use oil to do the painting, we use brush and ink. So our painting is mainly black and white. And some of our students are very good at calligraphy. And they take all kinds of transports, so they know the rules and the regulations. So once they are in China, they can go everywhere. China is huge. Some language partners are from the north, some are from the south, and the different regions are very different in terms of dialect, in terms of food, and in terms of folk story. So they bring their language partners together. They form a language community so they can share the learning of different parts of China. And because they put all their stories into their learning diary and they share that, they think, why don't we design a newspaper? So they share their stories into a newspaper and they publish it every other week, put them in the common room along the corridor. And this becomes an attraction because we are based in foreign language department and other language learners, when they go along the corridor and they always stop and have a look and see what our students are doing. And their newspapers become really quite professional. Because they constantly use the target language, once they are in China, they can do all kinds of jobs, like concert presenters and tour guide and exhibition organizers. Some of the students even go to live TV show, and this show they have more than 6 million people watching, and the audience really impressed by my students' Chinese and their cultural knowledge about China. And so far, what has happened is only within the University of Manchester. How about the students outside Manchester? So our university initiated a Study China program, and that is supported by British, Scottish, Irish, and Welsh governments. And during the summer, we take these students to China for 3 weeks. All the students need to do is to pay is a flight, and all the rest is covered by the program. And these students are from all parts of the UK, no matter what degree they are doing, and their race, gender, their whatever they are doing, as long as they are interested in Chinese, and we include them into the program. So we have taken over 6,000 students to China. There in China, in the morning, they learn a bit of Chinese language so that they can have basic communication, like taking a taxi, ordering a food. In the afternoon, we take them out to like high-tech industry and to museum to learn the traditional Chinese art and also to local cultures. So students see China and with their own eyes and talk to Chinese people personally. So they experience China by themselves. And now what students have gained is language and culture only. How about using the target language to learn a subject? That could be a double gain. So I initiated a business Chinese program. In this program, students learn half Chinese language, half business knowledge. And in this program, they set up a company. Each of the students set up a company, either virtual or real, going through all the business procedures, from market survey to creating advertisement, arranging sale, and providing after sale. Because their customers are from all different cultural backgrounds, they raise their intercultural communication skills as well. So after this training, and the students gain both language and business knowledge. For example, this student, he thinks that um, what we learned, the learning materials, the teaching methods are all designed by Chinese people. But we are English students. We know what we need most. So he thinks that why don't we set up a e-learning resource called a newspaper, and then that can be a supplementary reading material. And he was thinking, what name should I give to my company? The most famous people in China is Chairman Mao. And this Bao is newspaper. The pronunciation is similar. So he thinks if I name my company as Chairman Bao, that can be attractive. And logo, it is somebody is reading the Chinese newspaper there. Because they have the experience of like designing newspaper at early stage, so it's very easy for them. And indeed, from the Western angle, English angle, they choose the materials that students are really interested in, and they update it every other week. And also, they divide the learning materials according to different language levels. So whatever your language level is, from 1 to 6, you always find something to read, something interesting, something up to date, something is current. They can always find something there to read. Apart from that, they also have explanations. They also use social media to share their learning practice or experience. And this Chairman Bao, this e-learning resource now has 220,000 paying customers. And for this student, another example, while she was doing the business Chinese course, just during the course, she was doing an online buying dancing accessories from China and sell it here online. And just for one semester, she earned 10,000 pounds while studying. And after graduation, she went to Oxford for PhD and went to Stanford University as a visiting scholar. When she comes back, she set up a charity organization providing internship job opportunities to underrepresented female students. She wants to give back to the society. Every year we have national business competition. This is like Dragon Dam. These judges are billionaires. They want to invest. And once they get good ideas, innovative ideas from the students, they do invest and make their companies bigger and stronger. Mm, More recently, students start to interact with artificial intelligence. For this week, the topic is philosophy. So my students think, oh, if we make a dialogue between Chinese philosopher Confucius Institute and Aristotle, that will be interesting. So he asked ChatGPT, can you give me one image, put them two together? And to make a dialogue, and then the image comes out as Aristotle in sandals, and exposing the toes. That is very implied. That's not appropriate. So he asked ChatGPT, could you put the proper shoes on Aristotle? And no, look, both of the toes for both of them are exposed. both. This is not proper at all. And he asked, could you put shoes, proper shoes on both of them? No, this time. Confucius says, in shoes, but we need shoes. Maybe this is too ancient, too far away. The next week's topic is marriage and between the West and East. So if they have one image for both cultures, that will be good. On the left, it is a proper Chinese wedding, but on the left, they have lanterns. Do Western weddings have lanterns? Mm, probably not. So maybe a church is more typical. So he asked, could you put a church as the
Looks like Minji has frozen again.
aspects after our whole semesters working interacting with AI, and students summarize that they are very good at generating ideas, providing useful information, and they say it is much quicker and faster and useful than Google search and other engines. And if the students put in their language proficiency levels, like level 3, level 4, and they can provide the passage that is right, suitable for your level. And they can also give a range of expressions, like a 4-word idiom expressions. And the students really learn during the process of working, interacting with and AI, they learn a lot of more vocabulary and more ways of expressions and also more ideas, and they are getting more and more confident. And so students take learning a language as a joy. And on one hand, they raise their language proficiency. On the other hand, they also gain intercultural communication skills. And the more they use it outside the class, and the more they want to learn in class. So it's a very healthy cycle. So that is the interaction in pedagogy used for language learning. And we are all teaching international students. It will be good to share your story, how to interact with the international students and how to raise their intercultural communication and awareness. Thank you, Marina.
Thank you, Minji. Hello, Jeanette. Oh, Nick is clapping. Would anybody like to share their how they interact with, or how you interact with your international students?
I can share something that's related but not entirely the same, if that's all right.
Yes, please.
So I work at a research institute, and we have lots of researchers who are from lots of different countries. And we find that when we do outreach, like public engagement with research, it's mostly the native English speakers that do the outreach. The international students, the international researchers don't get as involved. So I was wondering why this was. And we started doing some projects where we partnered with local community groups where they speak different languages. The parents are from other countries, supplementary language schools, and got the researchers who were from those countries to go in and do science outreach in that language. And that really helped the researchers to get involved in doing outreach and made them feel more connected to Manchester, which was really nice. And then more likely to then go on and do outreach in English later. So that's sort of something that came to mind. I know it's not exactly the same, but that's something we've been doing for a few years now, and it seems to work really nicely.
Minji, do you want to comment?
Yes, we are also interacting with the local communities, and from the local communities, because they are using the language on everyday basis. So what our students, when they come back, what they say is that they learn more colloquial, more useful, more ready to use that kind of a vocabulary, phrases, and also they are involved. They feel part of the community. They are involved with their like weekend gathering, events, cultural shows, and they do feel part of the community. Yes, it is a good activity. Yes.
Anybody else like to share? Oh, I've just realized